Good evening. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe After Hours. My name is Scott Schotter, and tonight we have the special privilege of having our guest tonight, or actually our host tonight, Chef Olga Keller. Welcome, Olga.
Hi, thank you. It's great to be here.
So we've got a lot to cover this evening, and I think it's important for people to understand a little bit more who you are. And so maybe you could just briefly tell us your story. How did you get here to this seat tonight?
Well, I was born in Ukraine, and 15 years ago, I was privileged to come to United States. And shortly after, I discovered that I have a tumor, and it was cancerous tumor. And so basically, I was on a mission to heal myself. And it was a long road, but in a year or so, my tumor was gone, and I'm healthy today. So it basically brought me to school. I became a holistic nutritionist, and then I realized that food plays the key role in anybody's life, and it was basically it healed me, my living foods, and I became a raw chef. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about nutrition and how to properly prepare the food. And today I can share what helped me to become well. So that's basically my story.
Oh, I think you're being a little modest with us. So first of all, there was a big event that happened in Ukraine that affected not just you and your family and people in Eastern Europe, but all across the globe, basically, with the Chernobyl nuclear meltdown.
Yeah,
and that affected a lot of people that you knew.
Yes, my family was affected, and my aunt passed away when she was 47 from cancer. And my grandmother, she had lung cancer. And actually, 10 years after Chernobyl, people started getting very, very ill and basically dying quickly. I was fortunate to come to United States and learn a lot. But when I visited my homeland, I was surprised that a lot of young people were gone. They died because the conventional treatments didn't work. And we are lucky that we have all technology in the United States and all diagnostic tools that can help people to find out what's in their bodies. That was not accessible in Ukraine back then. So yes, it was quite terrifying to find out that people don't know much about the nutrition, and they cannot help themselves, so they suffer.
So your sister also developed a tumor as well, is that right?
My sister was the first one, actually. We found out that she had a brain tumor and was an operable tumor. She was on medications, and being athletic, it was interfering with her lifestyle, and she couldn't exercise because the side effect of medication. So we had to find a way for her to feel better and heal herself with the nutrition. And that's basically, we took that step. We chose to use nutrition as a healing tool. She was juicing, she was eating living foods, and that was her way to heal herself.
Right.
Then shortly after, I discovered that I had the problem.
Right.
So,
well, I know that you don't claim to cure or even diagnose anything, but what your sister chose to do and what you have also done is basically go on a very homeopathic, natural way by using food as your medicine. Is that right? Is that right?
That's right. I would like people to pay attention to their bodies, and when necessary to see doctors. And I don't make any claims because I think that I'm offering the choice and help maybe some people going through medical treatments and they would like to address nutrition as well. Sometimes it's very helpful to know how you can help yourself a little bit more and feel better even if you go into the treatment. So I didn't have to do that, but a lot of people that I worked with, actually it was helping them, helped a lot. So they were able to avoid some of the side effects of the treatments.
Right. So even if people continue with their medications, living an Olga Keller Living Foods lifestyle is going to be helpful for them.
Very much so. Very much so.
So I think it's strange for people to understand that you only eat plant-based raw food, essentially. And I think a lot of people think that's extreme. And I remember you telling me that when you first introduced this to others after you and your sister had such great results, they didn't like the taste so much. Is that true?
Yes, it is. It was interesting because I can eat anything. And when I started healing myself, I was drinking grass juice. It wasn't delicious, but I was determined. So when my friends tried the food and I was presenting the food, I said, "Why won't you try this?" "Well, I'm not well." "Okay, try it. So maybe it's going to help you." And I was feeding my friends with my raw food, living food. They did not eat. They couldn't eat it. So it was tough.
So you and your sister would do whatever it took to get well, and so you would eat anything no matter what it tasted like, as long as you were getting better. But not everyone felt the same way, even if they weren't doing so well themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Some of them were tough enough to to stick with it.
So is that when you decided to become a chef after that, so that you could make it taste better?
Yes, actually, I wanted to become chef badly because the nutrition was there, the knowledge was there, and I was thinking to myself, it has to be more to it. So I became holistic chef, trying to follow the recipes and see how it's gonna, make that food more delicious, was more palatable to my friends as well. They liked it, but I did not like the combination of food that I was using. So even the food can be, you can call it living food, you can call it raw food, you can call it anything you want, but if it doesn't mean it's very healthy.
Right.
So there are some principles that we have to follow to
Right.
make it healthy.
Right. So most people, I think, vegans are a little strange. They're certainly still the minority out there. So when you're a raw vegan, I think it makes people think that you're even stranger. But what we found since I've been working with you is that when people taste your food, they don't think that it's vegan or even raw vegan. They just think it's delicious, which I think was your goal.
Yes, absolutely. But it is delicious. I put my heart to it.
You do. You put a lot of love in it.
Before I even start making the food, I know what's in it. I know how it tastes in my mind. So I just follow my heart, and I know what it is, what it's going to be. Yes, the food definitely has to be delicious. We have to have flavors. We have to have joy in our life. We can't just eat the grass. So some of my friends were telling me at some point, we wanted to buy you a cake for your birthday, but we decided we cannot even do that. We're just probably going to plant a piece of grass outside, so it's going to be your birthday cake, birthday present over there. Yeah, but...
But, I've, tasted your chocolate and your cheesecake and some of your other lovely desserts. So you can live a full, healthy, digestive lifestyle. Digestive lifestyle is probably not the right way, but you can eat and feel good about what you're eating and still be healthy, which is, I think, what's so unique about what you do. And I think people should know that you have a website, www.olgakeller.com, where people can find some of your recipes and some of the other things. What are some of the other ideas that you'd like to see for people to learn from your website? And what are some of the things you'd like to help people know more about?
Well, actually, I would like to even walk people through my daily life, just to know just little tips and suggestions, how to begin your day,
Right.
how to I have a lot of questions from people asking me about the protein intake. A lot of people that asking about, what do you do? What do you eat? I said, you can't eat what I eat right now because I eat very little. But there are some suggestions that can make people feel better. And that's something I would like to share, basically.
Well, as a matter of fact, I know we've been working on a book outline, and we have 16 special recommendations that you've come up with. So it's not just about the food, but it's the kind of the OK lifestyle.
Yes.
And that's the brand that we've given you, the OK brand for Olga Keller. But it can be meaning OK or A-OK when you do it. Because when people say, well, I'm not OK, well, that's not this. So this is for people that want to be better and well if they're healthy. But if they have some issues, as an example, if people have any kind of chronic illnesses or have things like diabetes or high blood pressure, does your diet work for people like that? Does it help them?
For everybody works. So it's very, very versatile for everybody. Whoever wants to feel good, incorporate. Not asking to stick to it 100%, but try to add a little bit of the raw living foods to the diet, and then it's going to make a huge change.
Right. So even if you're a meat eater and you still eat any of the things that you no longer eat, it's fine to continue that as long as you're going to look to transition towards something a little healthier. I know we're going to go through your 16 steps now, but before we start, if people think that they have to do all of them all at once, they might be a little scared about that. But that's not your philosophy, is it?
Not at all. I would like, I don't want people to feel pressured, and I want them to feel comfortable to choose even one or two of them, suggestions, and see if they are good for you. Because we're all different and very unique in some way. And if my suggestions will help one person, I will be happy. So try to incorporate maybe one or two suggestions and see if they work for you, follow it. If not, then don't. So feel comfortable. And again, I'm not treating anything. I'm not advising to treat any kind of diseases. This is something that I had done for myself, and I do to this day, and this is what helps me.
Right.
So, and I just want to share some information.
Right.
That's all.
Right. So we're going to basically, you said earlier you wanted to have people see what you do. This is essentially what you do as we go through this, right?
Yes.
So these slides are going to be up on your website. So I want to let everybody know that.
Very
so
good.
This was an interesting one when I first heard it. Why don't you tell us about the first one here?
Well, talking about the water, the first thing in the morning, we wake up and we begin our day with the glass of water. I like to use the room temperature water or slightly warm water, never boil the water. And I like to squeeze a half of the lemon juice. I do the full lemon, of course, because I really like the alkalinity of that water. And I add something called MSM powder. You have to be very selective which one you're using. The brand matters. It's a great antioxidant, and it's very good for your muscles, for muscle health and joint health. So if you add a little bit to your water, you can start with the half a teaspoon, or just follow the instruction on the box. By the way, we have it on the website, which
Right.
one we like.
Right. I know there's a number of different products that you recommend, and you spend all the hours of testing to find out which ones are good and which ones aren't, and they can be found on the
yes,
website.
for years. I tested them for years. So we begin our day with the water, lemon juice, and then a little bit of MSM, because you basically cannot drink it with the lemon, that water, that MSM powder. And I add minerals. The minerals must be present in the water because we're losing minerals. So the first thing in the morning, we don't drink the naked water. We're dressing up the water with our minerals and MSM powder, and then that's pretty much it. But what I wanted to add, you're probably going to see on my website that there are products that we offer. That's what I tried for myself. Whoever can afford to buy minerals, my suggestion, and that's at some point I did that, and I liked it very much. It was very comfortable. I used in a jar, like 1/3 of the jar filled with the Celtic or Celtic sea salt. That's the wet salt. And the rest of the jar has to be water, pure water. So let it sit overnight, and then that water will be good enough, filled with minerals, for you to add a teaspoon of that water to your water. And that's your minerals. Celtic sea salt has just about 82 to 83 minerals in them. And it will be just, it's on the cheap side. I think it will be fantastic.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, fantastic for people to use it. I like fulvic acid, not the folic acid. It's fulvic acid, another mineral, great mineral.
Fulvick.
Yes, another great mineral has just about 85 minerals. It wakes you up. It really makes you feel good. But the lemon, why we're using lemon? People think that the lemon juice is quite acidic. It is alkaline in nature. Basically, when it hits your stomach, it will be alkaline. It cleanses your kidneys. It cleanses your blood.
Right.
So we want to add to cleanse the digestive system, and also push the lymphatic system a little bit, because every cell, every organ cleanses overnight, and we need to cleanse our lymph a little bit. So the lemon will do the job.
Right. And you also think teas are great, just don't boil the water, right?
We can't boil the water
Just keep
because,
drinking.
yes, and the reason for this, because as soon as we boil the water, the white blood cells become reactive, so they react on the boiling water. They don't recognize that water as a living water.
Okay. So if you boil it and then it cool, it's okay. You just can't put it in boiling.
No, you can't boil. Period.
Don't boil it at all.
Don't
okay.
no.
Good to know. So you have to watch that a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so after the water, to add lemon, add some minerals, but then what do you do next in your day?
So a few hours after, and of course I enjoy a little bit of tea after I drink the water, and it's not delicious. So you have to have a little bit of tea, and I drink plenty of tea because the hydration is quite important. So my recommendation is hydrate yourself until the first half of the day. And in the afternoon, it will be mostly a food or nothing, because you want to stop hydration 3 hours before you go to bed. So the second, after I drink my tea, and I drink green tea, I drink chaga mushroom tea. It's amazing herb that basically it's mushroom, but it's hard mushroom. It grows on the birch tree, and it has a lot of minerals in it.
We should get that up on the website
Yeah,
too,
we have
because
to talk
that's
about
really
this.
a great drink to continue to have through the day.
Yeah, it doesn't taste. It doesn't have a bad taste.
Right.
So anybody can drink it, and
Right.
you can make even soups based
Right.
on that tea. But the second one I drink is the green juice. So my green juice contains celery, cucumber, lemon, and sometimes I add cilantro and green apple. Quite often I drink just straight celery juice with a little bit of lemon. Reason for this: the green juice has a lot of chlorophyll in it, and it's very alkalizing to the body. And when you're done drinking it, you feel full. You're not hungry. Also, think health. So this is something that you do for yourself in the morning before you go to work. You have a lot of energy. The green drink will provide you with minerals, with vitamins, with phytonutrients. It will continue cleansing process that you started in the morning. But also, I think that green juice will digest in 10 to 15 seconds. And
Wow.
I'm not talking about the smoothie. I want to make clear
Right. Let's
that
maybe we can just make a quick distinction between a juice and smoothies, because there's debate on either side.
Okay, so both of them are good, but I prefer not to burden my digestion in the morning, and that's why I drink the juice. Juice has absolutely no fiber, and I like my juice in the morning without the fiber, without any kind of additives to it. Now I'm using something called Olga juicer, so it's not getting heated by the juicer. Very important to pay attention to that, because the other juicers they oxidize that juice. So now we have blenders and we have juicers. Blender takes the entire vegetable and blends it into the paste, to the smooth consistency, but it has a fiber. I would recommend to people to begin with the juices. If you are new to any kind of greens, don't even bother drinking smoothie because it's going to cause you indigestion and you're not going to last long. That's something I did in the beginning. It was very harsh. It's going to bloat you. It will be very difficult to digest that fiber. So the juice would be probably the best to begin with. And if you can't drink a lot, a little bit goes long ways. Begin with maybe 4 ounces of juice and increase little by little. But you're going to feel so good that basically you will drink it. 8 to 16 ounces of juice right away. Also, I'd like to mention if people have a little bit of nausea. Nausea?
Nausea.
Yeah, thank you. My Ukrainian kicks in. Then just know that this is detoxification effect.
Wow.
Don't get scared. The greens, the chlorophyll cleanses the blood. We have iron there as well, by the way. So everything is going to be pulled to the lymphatic system, and you're going to feel a little bit of effect. Don't get scared of it.
A couple of quick questions. Why celery? Why not, and I see I have cucumber too here, but why not, kale and spinach and all these other dark leafy greens that people put together? And a second question, I guess most people like fruit in their smoothies, but some people always do a combination of fruit and vegetables. We're going to get to that a little later, that distinction, but I know that's not the way you'd like to go. Why would just focusing on just a couple of ingredients rather than 5 or 10?
Okay.
Lots of. Go ahead.
Celery is a very important herb, so it's an herb to have.
It's not a vegetable.
It's not a vegetable. That's an herb. Cucumber is the fruit, non-sweet fruit. So
that's why you call it a green juice, not a vegetable smoothie, because there's no vegetables in this thing.
No vegetables. So why I'm using celery specifically? Because celery can increase the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. It will prepare your stomach for digesting the food later on in a day. It has a lot of enzymes in it. So also celery contains 20% of sodium. We need sodium because in a cell itself we have potassium. Outside the cell we have sodium. Some people get swelling in the legs from sodium and they say, I'm not going to drink the juice. You're drinking wrong sodium. Your sodium is not going inside the cell. So because you're taking sodium with the food, but if you drink the green juice, it's going to go straight to your cell. So celery has 20% sodium. Our bones have 20% sodium in them. It's very important for the bone health that we have celery juice. The cucumbers have a lot of potassium. All the minerals that we need, we have in this combination of juice. Now, we have cilantro. Cilantro is great chelator. So for people that have heavy metal toxicity, very important herb to have. And green apple. So we don't combine fruits, vegetables together. Green apple can be combined with celery because celery is an herb, and cucumber is non-sweet fruit. Cilantro is an herb, and lemon can go with any kind of food. So this is a perfect combination. Now, I would like to also mention that if people like to add a little bit of sprouts, just a tiny bit, pea sprouts, sunflower seed sprouts, very good. I sometimes have it as well.
So I know that we have to add this in the video library on how to juice, and we could do a whole show on juicing. Mm-hmm. But just one question. We took the fiber out when we go to juice, but I thought fiber was really an important component in our diet. So we're going to replace it later on with the food? Is that how it works?
Yes. Also, the living food has a lot of fiber. Everything that we eat is intact. It has a fiber, and it has carbohydrates. It has protein in it. So we don't need to blend everything and gulp it, just to suffer through it. Just enjoy the juice. Enjoy the blood of that vegetable. It's just basically very delicious. So don't suffer. And reason why I don't juice the dark green leafy
Yes.
vegetables, because our soil is not fertile as used to be. It does not have that many minerals anymore. That's why we have to add ionic minerals to our food, to our water. So they don't. Yes, the great source of chlorophyll, but are they delicious? No. In the juice, you're not gonna last long on that juice. You're not gonna drink 16 ounces
Right.
of that juice.
Right.
Not
I
gonna
drink
be
your juice formula every day, and I like it. I'm
Thank
used
you.
to it.
Thank
and
you.
I can admit that drinking just straight up, leafy green vegetables is not that flavorful.
No.
All right, let's continue, because this is kind of the main component of our 16 steps here, is that eat only living foods. And we've talked about it a little bit, but maybe you could just address maybe if you could talk about the enzymes.
Okay, so the enzymes are present in every single vegetable in a raw state. So everything that we eat has enzymes. Our body has enzymes. Enzymes break down everything. They build everything in our body. So there are digestive enzymes, there are metabolic enzymes, and there are food enzymes.
So you mean if you eat a piece of meat, you're getting enzymes as well?
No, you don't.
Okay, so you said everything. You mean every living food that you
Every
eat has
living
enzymes.
food,
So,
yes.
So cooked food or dead food has nothing, no enzymatic value.
They don't, because the cooking process kills the enzymes. If the food is cooked above 118 degrees, the enzymes basically are being destroyed. They die.
So I think that's something that's important for people to know, that at 117 degrees, it's still living foods.
Yes.
So soups and warmed foods, noodles, you don't have to think that it's just rabbit food or just, leafy cold iceberg lettuce. It's
Not
a
at all.
complete selection of foods that can be very comfort food oriented and everything like that.
Yes, absolutely. So in the food preparation, I cannot talk about cooking because I really don't use the fire to cook my food. I do always drink hot tea. I always eat very hot soups. My food is not cold, and it's very nutrient dense food. It's not calorically high, but nutrients dense food. And it contains water. That's why I don't ever drink water through, like in the afternoon, I'm not thirsty. Besides, I eat one meal a day. So, and I can snack a little bit. I do not recommend to people to do the same thing.
Right.
Because everybody is different.
So one meal a day is not part of this program. You can have several meals a day, and we're going to talk a little bit more about in the upcoming slides. But you can do just fine on juice and one meal a day, and you've been doing that for quite some time.
Yes, because this kind of food satiates you so well that I don't even think about the food. And also, this kind of food is very high on fiber. So the fiber feeds a good bacteria in your gut and it restores the flora. So we're not blending the vegetables, we are eating the vegetables. And the combination of vegetables that we use, nuts and seeds and legumes, in such a beautiful way that we keep enzymes intact. So,
and that's important because if you don't have living enzymes when you eat that food, then you're going to recruit other types of enzymes that really weren't meant for digestion. Is that how it works?
Okay, so when I eat this kind of food, this food digests itself because the enzymes are present in a living food.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, I have something cooked to eat, I have to get my metabolic enzymes engaged to break down the food that I just ate if I'm eating the cooked food. So what happened? For one digestive enzyme, we have to engage 10 metabolic enzymes. And they are so precious. They run our system. They basically run our heart, run all organs, liver and kidneys, everything, all organs. So That means if we are borrowing enzymes, the metabolic enzymes, we are depriving ourselves, in our energy, and we're going to feel tired.
Okay. So, well, time is going very quickly here. So we're going to take a quick break. We're here with... Hi, we're back at the Brooklyn Cafe After Hours with Chef Olga Keller. And Chef, the producer, came up and mentioned that a lot of people were, interested in learning more and asking questions. And so I just wanted to let people know that you have a section called Ask Olga on your website, where people can just go to the website, www.olgakeller.com, and find the Ask Olga button and type in your question. It can be anonymous, doesn't matter. And we'll be posting a lot of those questions because people are asking a lot of the same things, which we're not going to answer right now, like how much protein do I need if I'm a vegan and these types of things. But we can answer all those questions for you. Actually, Chef can answer all those questions for you. And so tonight we're going through her 16 steps or recommendations for ultimate health. And so, Chef, we spent a lot of time on the first 3, but that's good because they're really important steps. But since we have a limited time, let's see if we can go through the rest of them kind of quickly so people can get the whole understanding.
Right.
And this will all be on your website soon, so people can get that. And we're really going to do a deep dive into this because this is actually the chapters on the second half of your book. So, all right, this one is pretty interesting, and it took me a while because I was always told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And when I got up before I went to school when I was a kid, eat a big breakfast. But here you say eat only between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. or thereabouts. What does that mean? And that sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting because at 11 o'clock, our digestive enzymes basically wake up. So before 11 o'clock, we should probably just drink the liquids, whatever we can drink, and not to feel hungry. This is the detoxification time before 11 o'clock. From 6 o'clock at night up until 11 o'clock in the morning, we can detoxify our body, so that we are resting our body, we are giving our body a break. Very, very important for optimal health. And we would like to stop eating all the food consumption just 3 hours before we go to bed, or with the sun down.
So no late night snacks?
No. Unfortunately not.
And no big breakfast? So what happens when you eat a big breakfast? Does it just stay in your stomach all night?
It stays in your stomach. So all morning long, it will stay in your stomach. It will actually make you very hungry. And for people that like to work out, and then they like to have a protein drink, they can have it. Just don't add the banana. So please don't add banana with your shake. And
okay, I have to ask, why shouldn't you add a banana with your shake?
Well, the banana is a sugar, and the protein and the sugar do not combine very well. So you can have banana in a shake, just not with protein. Not with the protein shake.
I think we're going to get to that coming up here.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one. Only eat alkaline foods. What does that mean?
Well, there is a pH, the pH scale that we basically looking at, and our body should be slightly alkaline because every single fluid in our body, except for the stomach, juices should be alkaline in nature, and especially a very important organ, which is the blood. So what happens when there is the chart that we're going to have on our website that basically shows the alkaline foods.
Right.
And people already know about this.
I'm not going to... the pH thing, but basically it looks, when I see this, I'm seeing fruits and vegetables on the alkaline and everything else, starting with alcohol, on the acidic forming foods. So, so that kind of gives you a strong sense of why it's important to have a living foods diet, because you're staying on the alkaline foods the whole time. Right.
So when a body becomes a little bit too acidic, the enzymes cannot survive in an acidic state. So what happens, the body is extremely intelligent. It's trying to alkalize itself and takes a lot of calcium from the bones. So the calcium is one of the very alkalizing minerals. But when it goes to the blood and alkalizes the blood, it becomes a calcium phosphate. What happens with calcium phosphate? It deposits somewhere else in the body. So this way we're going to have gallstones, we're going to have kidney stones, So arthritis and all these diseases that we have with the stones, that's the effect of acidity in the body.
Wow.
So that's why we want to focus on alkaline forming foods. The next one I'd like to mention is about we're going down to our list.
Sprout grains, nuts, and seeds. Okay, so grains, nuts, and seeds are all good for us because they are really dense, energetic foods, and of course they're
have
plant-based.
Yes,
but there's a couple of issues around them, right?
They have minerals, they have phytonutrients, they help our body, but they are dormant foods. So to unlock the nutritional value, we have to germinate them, sprout them, and this is the way we eat the nuts and seeds. For example, the simple crackers that I make with the sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, I have to soak them. I would not recommend to people just to eat the nuts from the bag unless they see germinated nuts and seeds. So something to pay attention to.
So this is a lot of work for people, but I know you have some shortcuts that we'll share on the website on how to do that so that you come home and you just, immediately soak a bunch of them and then you put them away. And I know that there's some tricks on making this a little easier, but a lot of people get afraid of doing this because they think it's a lot of work. And in fact, there is a little bit of work that you have to do to eat the okay lifestyle, but it really isn't that much when you understand it. It's
we
pretty
should do the
simple
demo for that.
We'll do a demo
would be
on that.
easier. But I have a little trick.
Okay.
I soak everything overnight. I don't follow 1 hour, 2 hour soaking time, so I do it.
So you don't have to get the timer out for the soaker. Just soak it overnight.
I wake up in the morning,
Okay.
everything is ready.
All right.
Yes.
So you have some tricks that we'll share on the website with that. But there's a real important reason why you soak, though. Why don't you make sure we hit that?
Right. A reason for this, because they are dormant foods, like I said, and they have something called phytates in them, enzyme inhibitors. Phytates bind the minerals in our body, and that's how we can become deficient on iron, specifically iron mineral.
So it actually eating these nuts, unless they're sprouted, it actually takes away minerals from our body.
They take away minerals from our bodies, so they don't.
And that would be true for all kinds of nut butter spreads and all these other things, unless they all leach minerals unless they're
they
soaked.
have to.
That's a
If
big
we
deal.
buy, it is big deal. When we buy nut butters, we should probably look for the raw or germinated, sprouted words like this. The key words, something to pay attention to. Extremely important.
Yes, nuts and seeds need to be soaked. And so let's move on to the other one. We are rushing here a little bit, but I want to make sure that we get everything to you because it's all good stuff. All right, this is one of my favorite ones because I've really learned to incorporate sea vegetables into my life. And in fact, I know that a lot of the foods that you're preparing and the new line of alternative dairy cheeses, dairy alternative cheeses that you've come out with, all have sea vegetables in them. Why are sea vegetables so important?
Well, the sea vegetables are 10 to 15 times more nutritious than any kind of land vegetable. So there is no comparison.
So 10 to 15 times, so eat sea vegetables.
Eat the sea vegetables
So
in any kind of form.
Seaweed, what are we talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about not the green salad that you see with the full of sugar in the store.
Right,
So it should be-
that salad that,
Not that delicious
tastes like
salad.
sesame seeds.
No.
No.
We can make our own, of course. So hijiki, nori, which is nori sheets for the sushi, they are delicious snack. So there is a wakame and kelp. Each of them have different phytonutrients in them, and each of them contribute to our health. That's your bone health, and this is your energy. And without the minerals, we cannot even break down the proteins.
And one of the first foods that I think I was fortunate enough to eat that you made was your vegan sushi. And it was so great because it tasted like real sushi, which I loved when I used to eat fish. But that's because you put all the sea vegetables and created a paste that resembles like the fish part of the sushi. So it's really great. Sea
Thank you.
vegetables, got to have them.
Yeah.
Okay, and I try to do this as well. But what's the importance of incorporating herbs in your diet?
So herbs, we're talking about cilantro, parsley, rosemary, thyme. They are concentrated form of nutrients. They are medicinal, basically. We don't use them as much, but a little bit goes long ways. Add them because they have a lot of calcium, they have vitamins, they have They are medicinal,
Medicinal
herbs.
superfood qualities.
They are.
Okay. Always eat fruit by itself.
Please don't incorporate your fruit.
So what if I'm putting it on my oatmeal or in granola? That's not going to work in
happening
your system.
because the fruit digests very quickly, very fast, and grains will digest for 2 to 3 hours. So you're creating such imbalance in your body, and nothing will break down fast enough, and it's gonna basically draw your energy down.
So fruit is amazing. Just eat it on its own.
Yes, very good for breakfast after 11 o'clock. So.
Okay. And this one is blows a lot of people's minds, especially if you're still doing the basic American diet, and that's never eat proteins and carbohydrates together.
Again, the same concept.
So no meat and potatoes.
No meat and potatoes. Meat with the greens.
Meat with greens or potatoes with greens. Okay.
Yes, exactly. They digest in different ways. So just makes sense to follow the food combining for a very simple reason. If we don't combine the food properly, we even if it's alkaline food, and we are going to create acidity in the body, and acidity is inflammation.
So one of the things that I think many people who have started to eat the okay way discover is that their digestion issues go away, and I guess this is one of the main reasons why. So, and here's another one I suppose is important: avoid liquid fats.
I have to mention that I barely have any kind of liquid fats in our food.
Your food line, right?
Right, because I'm using sprouted, germinated nuts and seeds,
And
which
they have fats in them, so
they
you're not
have
saying don't have fat, just have no liquid fat.
not liquid fats. Just for you to understand, it takes 40 olives to have 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So we extracting this is
40 olives?
40 olives.
I could never eat 40 olives in one go.
Isolated nutrition. So we try not to
All right.
do that.
So we're here with Chef Olga Keller, and we're just about wrapping up. We're going to get to our last ones, Chef, but I just want to let everybody know that you can find out more about what we're talking about tonight, plus recipes, plus product recommendations, and all kinds of really interesting information on olgakeller.com. Olga's website is one of her missions is to make sure she gets a lot of education out to people. I'll also let you know that her new dairy alternative food line is going to be available at Vegan Fine Foods in Fort Lauderdale and other select wonderful health environments, health stores, health groceries in the South Florida area and beyond. E-commerce will be coming in the next month or two on Chef Olga's site. So go check out Vegan Fine Foods in Fort Lauderdale. It's right by the Children's Museum at 330 Southeast 2nd Street in Fort Lauderdale. All right, so let's keep going here. This is a really important one.
So we need proper rest. We need to get stress down, and I think we're done.
No, here we get rest, don't stress, and meditate.
And meditate.
Exercise every day. Even a couple minutes is enough, isn't it,
Even
Chef?
a couple minutes, or breathe heavy, and then just to move the lymphatic system going.
Eliminate
Yes.
waste and toxins from your body through a sauna or even soaking in the tub.
Yep.
And this is what you were just talking about.
Yeah, breathe.
Breathing is so important.
Yeah.
What is it says you can go up to 40 days without food and up to 10 days without water. Some people can,
Yeah.
but only 5 minutes or less
Yeah.
without.
We take 22,000 breaths a day. So
22,000 breaths a day, so make some of them meaningful. Well, thank you, Chef Olga Keller. This has
Thank
been
you.
really informative and informational. You can find out more by going to www.olgakeller.com and come see her on sometime in February at the Vegan Fine Foods restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Going to do some live demonstrations and some excellent stuff there. I'd like to thank Freddie and Dawn for inviting us
you.
in to share this information, and we'll see you next time we're here.
Well, that's about it for today, and even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 1 p.m. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more goodwill next time. Although today's show was live, you can follow the